turn the cameras and I go, who are these guys, right? From that moment on, my Twitter account, it just exploded.
Social media was buzzing with tweets about Chiefs on Parliament Hill. APTN received thousands of hits.
Chief Fox, tell us about what happened outside of the House of Commons. Was this planned?
I was asking myself, what am I doing here at AFN when the same things are going to be discussed and talked about? Our waters, our lands are at stake, our livelihood of people are at stake. What are we going to do? Silence is deemed to be as acceptance. Why don't we go out there? Why don't we at least get our voices heard? Why don't we try and go into the Parliament building?
What were you going to do if you got inside the chamber?
I was going to address the Prime Minister as nation to nation, leader to leader, and not talk to any ministers.
This is fine talk, but it's not true what you're saying.
So actually, we're going to continue to work on behalf of all the people of Canada.
Your law and your legislation don't mean a damn thing to us. It won't work.
So when the Chiefs took that position, I think at that point I realized that there was a groundswell and the leadership was reacting to it, and they were taking a political stand.
This is a start. This is only the start.
This is only a beginning, serving notice to the Canadian government that we will not be bullied anymore.
That's where I think the Idle No More movement even woke up those leaders.
So let's get out of here.
Your name?
Heading up.
Your name, please.
Let's get out of here.
And I think that action was one of the things that helped push the movement forward, because then you had the resources of, tribal councils and bands suddenly, getting involved in supporting the grassroots.
I'm with the two producers from the documentary we just saw that clip from, Tim Fontaine, Rick Harp. What did the Chiefs becoming involved do for Idle No More?
I think it brought infrastructure. I think, we talk about Idle No More being a leaderless movement or a movement that had no, funding or anything like that. But I think when the Chiefs got involved, it raised the profile of the movement for better or for worse. But it also, they were able to organize things like buses for rallies and things like that. So it brought a bit of money, I think, to the movement, if anything, right? Because they now had the support of communities. But it also, I think, in a lot of ways, it opened up a new audience to the movement that might not have been there before, right? So because Chiefs brought people with them as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting the interplay of Chiefs as a group, sometimes referred to as the leadership,
Yeah.
and quote unquote grassroots people. I mean, all these terms have interesting connotations to them depending on who's using them, and sometimes Chiefs would just act as individuals, just as a person, as opposed to doing it on an action on the official letterhead or what have you. And so it was interesting to see that back and forth between the different roles that were played by people at different moments, and I think that they were as swept up as anybody else by what was going on the ground. But of course, as events unfold, choices were made.